Greetings and salutations, this is Jarsz, the biggest YouTuber ever! And welcome to the second edition of the Daily Jarsz. Thank you for watching yesterday and thank you for being here for today. Let's see what we're going to find out today. What I'd like to start with, though, is giving thanks to my YouTube members. And I'm working on the scroll. Like I said, yesterday was going to be the worst one. This is going to be the second worst one. Thank you to all my members, Monkey in the Works, Andy Simply One, Daryl M, Judy Bassett, who's in the chat. Hello, Judy. Stringer News 1, Nerd Alert, and Dora Nku, who I haven't seen for a while. I hope she's all right. Thank you so much for sticking with me. It's been a bit of a drought. It's been about 5 months since I've done anything of any significance. My work is rather busy sometimes, but you've stuck with me. In fact, quite amazingly, my subscribers have stuck with me. I'm hardly lost any at all, except for some reason I lost a few yesterday. I wonder if that's because people were watching my channel and then decided not to, who weren't really there to watch for me, but to watch out for things to, people like Flirts is what I'm talking about, to get content for their channels. But we'll see what happens with that. In fact, that's something I want to refer to. But before I go into that, though, I felt really bad about Gary Wybenga yesterday. When I saw him on Toon the day before, he was just a complete waste of space. He wasn't interested in talking, having a discussion or anything like that. He just wanted to spew out his bullshit. If we see Gary in the chat today, I'm going to give him 3 chances. So the first time you see him post, that's him identifying that he's there. Then I want to give him 3 chances to present evidence that the earth is flat. And if he can't do it with 3 posts, then you can block him. All right? Is that fair enough, moderators? Because I don't like blocking anyone. And you block him for 24 hours. So, he'll be back for the next Daily Jarsz. But otherwise, I just don't really see the point of engaging with him in any way or letting him, take the energy of the chat away. Because he's just wasting everyone's time and he's wasting his life. That's the thing that really bothers me. It's probably better to block him in that sense. But yeah, in general, I don't like blocking people. Let's not try to do that. But let's give Gary a chance to redeem himself. I know how it's going to go, but you've got to give him the chance. Now, I've got a little bit of a follow-up, and I'll follow up more in future Daily Jarsz's. We had a bit of a response yesterday to our presentations. Well, we did some look at some videos from Flatsoid that Arctic Reflections did, looking at his video on Flatsoid. Let me see if I can remember how to share this, because for some reason StreamYards has gone really complex. I think that's it. That's sharing now, I think. Yes, good. As you see there, Flatsoid responded, and I pinned the comment, why lie, Arctic? I never once said using a sextant in the bush. Please bring me saying this. Well, it's almost English. I think we can go back and look at that, but I'm pretty sure Arctic will do a response video to this, so I'll leave that to Arctic, and we'll follow up when he does that. It'd be interesting to see if anything like that was said. Remember, Arctic English is his 3rd language, not his 1st, so he might not have got it quite right in the way he was expressing himself. But the other thing is, even if he did say a sextant in the bush, what difference does that make? You can still use a sextant for celestial navigation, whether you're on the ocean or in the bush or on a mountain or whatever. It's irrelevant where you are. It's what you use to figure out where you are. Anyway, like I said, I'll leave that to Arctic to respond to this comment, seeing it's aimed at Arctic, and we'll see what Arctic says about that, and then we might have more of a story to talk about. I'll stop sharing that. All right. So today I was going to have a look at everyone's favorite boy preacher, Matt Powell. He's the, how do I describe it? the friendly, the close friend of Kent Hovind, you might say, and I'll leave it to your imagination about close. He's a bigot. He's a transphobe, and we're probably going to, it's going to be a fairly heavy subject. As you know, I'm very pro trans people. They can live whatever they want because I expect to live whatever way I want. So why would I expect them to do anything else? Same with LGBTQI or Morris Marina enthusiasts or Mandy Warringah supporters, anything like that. Everyone should be able to do what they want within the law, of course, because that's where society sets the boundaries. And this is within the law, so why should anyone have a problem? Even if you have different religious beliefs, that's fine. If you want me to respect your religious beliefs, you've got to respect what other people want to do as well. It's all about fairness. Well, actually, I shouldn't say fairness because fairness is a subjective concept. But we'll get into that. And the video I've got about him is, actually, the first thing I want to show you. Let me do that one first. And God, I've got to get StreamYard there's about 4 clicks to be able to share anything. Have a look at this. There it is. That's the photo that Matt Powell chose to be his channel icon. What a gormless, brainless. You just don't see anything behind those eyes, do you? I don't understand why he chose this picture. It just doesn't do anything, does it? It doesn't give him any authority. It doesn't give any hint of intelligence or any reason why we should respect him at all. It's like a mugshot even. So yeah, I don't understand that. So let's get that off the screen. So this is the video. Neil deGrasse Tyson gets schooled by creationists. I wonder if he'll actually get schooled. Oh, actually, I've just realized I'm not sharing with audio, so I better reshare. Oh, but this is wonderful. Also share system audio. I think I can go now, except there we go. So I think I'm there. All right, so now we can just watch a bit of this video and we'll go through the issues that Matt brings up, and Neil, of course. This is from the Trigonometry podcast, the original video that is. It's the video that we're watching is from Matt's channel. Trigonometry get all sorts of interesting people on. They're worthwhile having a look at if you're so inclined, and you'll get to learn about a lot of things. But Neil deGrasse Tyson, he's a scientist. I'm not enamored with him as a communicator. He tends to be a little bit too emotional for a scientist, in my opinion. But as you'll see in this video, he's not exactly an idiot. So we'll have a listen to what he has to say.
So recently in the news, I got to see Neil deGrasse Tyson here defending his anti-scientific propaganda and his ideology that there's more than 2 genders. Let's check it out.
My only point was that if who you decide is male and female,
we don't decide that. Biology determines that.
In the street is a construct of style and trends and what the beauty industrial complex wants you to see. If that's how we establish gender, then maybe some people want to be fluid within that gender.
The reason the conversations become an issue is that we assign and allow certain privileges to people based on their sex. If you are female, you get to compete only with people of your sex because females are at a disadvantage in physical competition to males in almost every sport.
So I'm wondering whether the future of those sports is you don't contest gender with gender, you contest hormone ratios.
Well, did you hear that? He thinks that hormone ratios are the way to determine what we should do with sports, how we should assign people. So it shouldn't be based on male.
Well, he is making a suggestion. He's not saying that that's the way it should happen by law or something. He's just saying, look, if this is the problem, this is a potential solution. That's all he's doing, Matt.
and female should be based on hormones. Well, guess what? Hormones are not constant. They change all the time. So
That's
to
true,
say,
Matt.
well, hormone ratios are the way that we determine who should compete with who, that is ludicrous. I'm surprised that he even made this argument.
Well, hold on a second.
Well, what's the alternative, Matt? We're going to have a lot more trans athletes. That's just the way it's going to happen. So we need to come up with a solution. I think personally, sports are inherently unfair because being a fat bloke, I can't run as fast as Usain Bolt or someone like that. So in a race, we're not going to have it's not going to be a fair fight, is it? So it's similar. That's the reason women's sports came about at all, is because they didn't want to get hurt by the more physical men. Just the same way as a small man wouldn't want to be beaten up by a larger man, or a larger woman. A small woman wouldn't want to be beaten up by a larger woman. It's just a matter of mass and power. So, because we're all different, sports are inherently unfair. It's only the very extreme that make it to win an Olympic gold medal or something like that. I would beat Usain Bolt at a tug of war. Yeah, he wouldn't be able to move me at all, would he? Because I've got a lot more mass. I'd probably just roll over him personally. That would stop him, wouldn't it? I'd have an unfair advantage in that regard. But like I said, all sports are unfair. So I'm not so bothered by the transgender issue in sports because it's wrong in the first place. We're moving from one the way it's been for a long time, where we have men's sports and women's sports, and now we're moving into a different era. We do need to come up with some sort of classes in boxing. Yes, Thurston too. Yep, they do that for weight as well. The solutions are available. There are ways of doing this. I remember when I was playing rugby league as a kid. I got moved up from the under 11s to the under 13s because I was much bigger than everyone else. Of course, in the under 13s, they're also much stronger than me. And that didn't work out very well either. There's no way of actually coming up with a perfect solution. All you can do is come up with a better solution. Let's see if Matt's going to school Neil deGrasse Tyson.
The difference is physiologically between men and women, and not just hormonal. Women have a different hip angle, they have different heart capacity, they have different lung capacity. I mean, there are profound physiological differences. Different bone density. We've had professional athletes on the show to talk about it.
I don't have a problem with that. Then you find ways to slice the population so that whatever the event is interestingly contested. So, for example,
did you catch that? The events just have to be interestingly contested. It's not about fairness. It's about just having an interesting match.
I wrestled in.
Yes, of course it's not about fairness. Like I said, sport is inherently unfair. Fairness is a subjective concept anyway, so it's kind of a bit irrelevant. But what that points out is you do need an even match. It's not necessarily fair, it's just even. Otherwise, you're not going to have a proper contest, are you? So I think you're mixing up concepts here, Matt.
In my life, I was captain of my high school wrestling team.
Great. Would you wrestle some woman who identifies as a man down to the ground? I would hope not.
And this is, this is typical of Matt Powell. He'll mention something that Neil deGrasse Tyson never said and never even suggested. And then suddenly that's his point.
I would hope that you'd be man enough to protect and help women that don't understand that they are women to understand that they're women. I think that's the more loving approach, is to help people that have gender dysphoria, which is a real thing. Some people experience it.
I'm very pleased that Matt acknowledged that gender dysphoria is a real thing. Based on most of the things he talks about on this subject, you'd think he is just not interested in that at all. But yeah, it's good to acknowledge that. And the reason I'm very pro trans people is because that gender dysphoria leads to a lot of suicides. and that means society misses out on having those people contribute to our society. And it doesn't have to happen. It really doesn't. It's very, very sad, and it's not just the victims of the suicide that are affected, but it's their whole families and their friends and so on. It's a problem in our society, and being bigoted towards it doesn't help that problem. It only makes it more likely that people will commit suicide. Like I said, this is going to get heavy. Where's my cursor? There we go.
You need to understand that they are what they were born as.
It would be unfair for me at 190 pounds, which is what I was back then, to wrestle someone 120 pounds.
Hold on. It would actually be unfair for you to wrestle someone who is also 190 pounds, but female.
Let me work my way there. So, what the
there.
trans conversation is foisting upon us is the need to find ways to slice the athletic universe such that we still have interesting fair matches. And is it a combination of, did you go through puberty as a male and then transition? Did you have puberty blockers?
Look at how confused he is.
What is your hormone level now?
He's got to bring in all these different factors that will not work. What are your hormone levels now?
Matt, you just accused him of asked him, would he wrestle a woman earlier on, which was not part of the conversation. So why are you accusing him of bringing in other factors when you did the same thing? Well, I guess he never admitted to not being a hypocrite, did he?
No, I mean, how ridiculous, how ludicrous. This stuff would constantly change all the time.
So it requires more creative thought. Rather than saying no to it all,
yeah,
let's be creative about this. It's an unsolved problem. Yes.
It's unsolved for you. People.
No, Matt, you haven't caught up. Things have changed. It's going to be different. So now we need something that we can all accept is fair enough. Like I said, fairness is a subjective concept. So we've got to try and... Oh, yes. S. Thurston 2's just reminded me of, Right the Hand being absolutely owned in a wrestling match by a World Wrestling Federation woman. That was hilarious, wasn't it? And he sort of disappeared after that. That was funny.
People have already solved this problem. It was never a problem, actually, for thousands of years.
But things
Only
have changed,
now
man.
are people like you coming along and saying, well, this is such a problem. What are we going to do? Here's what we can do. Tell people to quit playing charades as if it's real. If a dude dresses up in high heels and a skirt, it doesn't mean he's a woman. It means
You might well be right, Matt. But who are you to tell him not to do that? Who the hell are you?
he's a man that's masquerading as a woman, who's a counterfeit. There are men.
So you're telling me you know what goes inside their heads? I mean, this is probably, I should have got Planet Walk to join me for this one. Planet Walk can tell me from firsthand experience what's going on in his head, as can several trans friends of mine. They don't feel male if they were born male. It's similar the other way around. Some females don't feel female; they want to feel male. That's what's going on in their head, and they've got to figure that out. They've got a body that doesn't match their head, and it's a real thing. And like I said, a lot of people commit suicide because of it, and that's something that we want to reduce, not contribute to. Insisting that they're not what they say they are, as if you can read their minds, doesn't help the situation in any way, shape or form. That is not loving. And Judy says she's a bear. I identify as a planetoid.
Trying to get into women's prisons. They're identifying as women just so that they can get into women's jail cells. Are you going to trust some criminal that committed some horrific crime or murder to tell?
Matt, when did Neil deGrasse Tyson or anyone bring this up? You brought it up.
Tell you the truth about their gender? Are you kidding me?
So
But
you
there
don't
are
have
women
to have that question.
whose opportunities are being curtailed today because they are being forced to compete, whether in sports or elsewhere, against people who have some kind of advantage over.
We're in a transitional.
And this is what it comes down to, is women are being forced into situations that they don't want to be forced into. It is absolutely bigoted to believe in transgenderism and to push that on other people.
So women are being forced into situations they don't want to be in. And I presume he means, based on the context, that they're being forced to compete against transgender women who were born male. So what about the other way around? They're being forced by their own psychology and what's going on in their heads to identify as something other than what they were born at. It's a two-way street, Matt.
We know there's only two genders, when we know that this is a scientific fact. Don't get on me and call me bigoted for just pointing out the elephant in the room here.
No, you're bigoted because you're bigoted. To be honest, I've had enough of Matt. We might stop him there. Like I said, it was going to get heavy, and I didn't really want to get heavy. It's supposed to be a fun live stream, and occasionally I'm going to get heavy, I guess. It's just the way of the world. But oops, hang on. But yes, I've probably had enough of that now. So let's go to something a little bit lighter, I guess. So if you spend any time on the internet talking to flirts, you'll get some hilarious memes. So I thought I'd lighten it up after that heaviness with some memes. So look at this. This is the one I love the most. It looks so flat because it is. That's their main argument. Oh, it looks flat, so it must be flat. Yeah, you look like an idiot, so you must be an idiot. I reckon, I haven't done it, but I reckon if I compress that, I would see a bit of a curve on that horizon. That's a fairly crisp, clean horizon. And of course, the horizon itself is the effect of the curvature of the Earth. So it's proof of the globe right there. And yet they're using it as a meme. Let's look at the next one. Oh, not him. I found this one. It's not really a flirf-related one, but I was puzzled. First of all, Snurd? Is that really a surname? But the most puzzling bit about this old album cover is by request. Who requested this? I don't understand. And this is a fairly typical flirf meme. It's all about argument from incredulity with flirfs. They went from horse and cart to a F-117 bomber, but in 200 years, but went from a chariot to a horse and cart in 1500 years. Yes, technology advances at an exponential rate, Matt. Not Matt, flirfs. Casual engineer, how are you? Yes, as you develop more things, that enables more things, so it goes up at an exponential rate. What's so bad about that? I don't know why flirfs put this forward as some sort of evidence of anything. And finally, I'm rather puzzled by this. This is a statue of the Virgin Mary, but there's something about it that I can't quite put my finger on. I believe that's it. Yes. All right. So I'm going to pretty much call it to a close. Is there any topics that you'd like me to cover in future Daily Jarses? I think tomorrow I'm going to have a look at CC, everyone's favourite top lifter. And he's been going off the rails recently. I think it'd be interesting to have a look at him, and he's always funny, of course. I love Sir Sick in particular, taking him apart. But there's many others that do the same. Any suggestions for subjects that you can give me? I'm going to make the meme thing a bit of a segment on the show, I think, because I always see hilarious memes every day. Yeah, Gary didn't show up. Well, he was banned for 24 hours, so his ban might not be gone yet, because it was well into yesterday's stream that he got it. Maybe he'll show up tomorrow. But Gary, you dislike this stream again, and you'll get a permanent ban. Because that's just being malicious, and I'm not going to put up with that. And it was only one dislike, so who else would it have been? Okay, folks, I've always wanted these to be between 30 minutes and 45 minutes, and we're bang on 30 minutes, well, almost, by the time I've finished talking. Do the YouTube things. Please give this stream a like if you liked what you saw. Please, if you like it a lot, join the members by clicking the join button. What were the other things we do? Leave a comment below. I love reading your comments, especially if it's from, well, not only from supporters, but from those who are detractors as well. And what was the other thing I was going to mention? Damn it. My brain. I need a new brain. It's too early in the morning, maybe. All right. Do the YouTube things. That'd be great. We'll talk tomorrow about CC. And I think that's good work, Hugh. See what idiot comes up from the net. Yeah. There's idiot stupid every day. So we'll have a look at it. And I think that's just about it. There's nothing left to do but cue the corgi.
You're despicable.